Yay.
Hi
Okay.
everyone. Hi Selina.
Hi,
I'm
Alison.
I'm really looking forward to this because liver is such a fantastic organ, and I I had a dark past where I used to drink a lot of alcohol, so I was really focused on looking after my liver when I woke up to how diet and lifestyle can sort out your health massively. So this is what we're going to talk about, your
Yay.
liver health.
Yeah.
So Selena has also had her liver compromised, which I'm sure she'll tell you, and I myself, and we're both very focused on looking after our liver. So Selena is a nutritionist. I've known her for about 6 years, and we have a good meeting at least once a month. We could talk for ages because we've both got a passion about diet. So,
Yeah.
so Selena, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, so I'm a naturopathic nutritional therapist and a lifestyle medicine practitioner. I've been interested in the liver since I was 17, so that's what led us onto this conversation. And I've been practicing a practitioner for the last 10 years. So I trained at the College of Naturopathic Medicine and the Institute of Optimal Nutrition. Um, my mentor is an old lady who's 81, who's an absolute powerhouse and a herbalist and a Chinese medicine specialist, and she's also a trained GP. So I've got it's a mix of both worlds. I think
Yeah, yeah,
of the worlds of naturopathy and also conventional medicine. I see myself as a complementary health practitioner rather than an alternative health practitioner. So I think it's about really looking at the whole person. And my story with liver health began when I was 17 and I was diagnosed with hepatitis A, which is a viral hepatitis, and stopped me dead in my tracks, really, at the time. I was a real party animal. I really loved, you know, well, I was a sort of a bit of a work hard, play hard sort of person. And for 1 year, I had to focus on getting well. And when your liver's ill, there is no medication for the liver, not at the time anyway. I don't know about now. And so I had to learn about how it works. And that's what's led me to the work I do now.
yeah, yeah. So what are the signs if you find that your liver's struggling? What early signs can people?
Yeah, so it's really important to know those early signs because you could get a blood test and there's some markers, certain types of liver enzymes that's called ALT, and I can't remember all the acronyms off the top of my head right now, but basically there's a whole bunch of liver markers. And they could show us completely within range and completely healthy, and your liver could still be struggling. Because the thing to know is those markers that you would get for your liver test, they only show us out of range when your liver is already damaged.
Mm.
And that, although your liver is a really resilient organ, it's a really tough organ, it's the only organ that can regenerate and that can heal itself. But once it's damaged, it becomes harder. And the early signs, the sort of signs that you're going to find, so some of them are very subtle. It could be things like, I'm going to read off a list so I don't forget anything and I don't repeat myself, because that's something I could do. But things like general digestive discomfort, not like a very clear, oh, I eat this and I suddenly I'm sick, but things like constipation, nausea, lots of bloating, lots of flatulence, like difficulties digesting fatty foods, difficulty digesting protein as well could also be a sign that your liver is struggling. Things like having multiple food intolerances, but not allergies, like a lot of them. Brain fog, low energy, difficulty losing weight, difficulty regulating that's more of something you'd see on the blood test, but your cholesterol levels, even with diet and medication, headaches, migraines, general feeling of um, joint stiffness and inflammation, that could be a sign your liver is not working. Menstrual disorders, all sorts, anything that's got to do with your menstrual health that's imbalanced is very often the liver plays a role in that.
So if you had some symptoms, you had a blood test, and the liver's fine.
Yeah,
you could do a liver cleanse, and a lot of those symptoms would go. Would you say?
Yes, I think it's not just purely from a liver cleanse point of view, because you can't really cleanse the liver per se. The liver is an organ that like detoxification is a process of transformation. It's a biochemical process of transformation. So it's not just like going, oh, well, I'll just have, I don't know, celery juice or something like that for 3 weeks and it's all fine. It would be a little bit like if your sewage system was backed up in your house and you'd say, well, I'm not going to use any soap, or I'm not going to use, or in my dishwasher, and I'm just going to flush things out with clean. It's not going to be enough. So you need to support the process. There's several phases of detoxification in your liver, and they have to happen at the right pace. So the first phase of liver detoxification makes your toxins actually a little bit more active. And in simple terms, it makes them more toxic. And phase two, if phase one's fast and phase two's slow, you actually have an imbalance in your liver function. And you need to have both of them happening at good pace. And for your phase one and phase two liver detoxification to operate, you need some essential nutrients. Without those nutrients, the liver cannot do its job. So it's not a case of just drinking herbal tea. If you don't have those nutrients, it doesn't work. So things like vitamin C, vitamin E, magnesium, all the B vitamins, glutathione, which is something your body makes, but there's some cofactors. You need certain types of amino acids which come from protein. What else? Selenium, carotenes, coenzyme Q10. Those are all nutrients that if you don't have them, you will have something in the process that just stops. It's like if you had to illustrate it, it will look like the insides of a very complicated clock. And if you had one little, if you had a clock with all the different wheels in there, and one of the wheels gets stuck, the whole clock stops functioning. The liver's like that. So those nutrients are all there to make each part, each little tooth of that clock is perfectly fits into the other. And that's how your liver detoxification works. And then downstream, which we sometimes call phase 3, is the elimination. So it's once all the toxins have been properly separated and packaged and taken out, they're now going to go either in your bloodstream or in your bowel. So you need your kidneys to function very well, and you need your bowel to function very well. If you get constipated, those toxins can be reabsorbed through the bowel and recycled. Now your liver has double the work to do, because it will have the new toxins that come from the waste of your metabolism, and the other ones from before that suddenly everything gets stuck. So that's why we need to, when we're doing a liver reset or a liver rebalance, or I think this is what you call it, it's not just a case of buying a packet of detox tea and drinking through it. That's not going to do the job.
So bowel cleanses are really key in preparation to do a liver a liver rebalance. So I understand that the liver also can regulate cholesterol. So tell us about that.
Okay, so cholesterol is actually made. So when we think of cholesterol imbalance, we always think, oh my goodness, it's got to do with my diet. I shouldn't be eating so much saturated fat, which does contribute. And there are certain things in the diet that can help a little bit by sending certain messages to the liver to do a job differently, and to some receptors in the bowel in terms of absorption and elimination. But by and large, the cholesterol that we have in circulation, we make. And there's a purpose to it, because we need it for lots of different functions. All our steroid hormones, the precursor is cholesterol. So steroid hormones are things like estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, DHEA, cortisol, which we need. Also, things like coenzyme Q10 is also part of that process. We need cholesterol for that. We need cholesterol for our cell membranes. It plays a lot of roles. But then it needs to be dismantled and eliminated. So a very complicated process, and it happens mostly in the liver. And when your liver doesn't function very well and your bile production is imbalanced, then that's where we start to see. So a high ApoB on a blood test or a high LDL cholesterol could be a sign that your liver is functioning. It's not an absolute certainty, but it is an indicator that your liver could be a little bit stressed or functioning suboptimally.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so what can people do with their diet to support their liver then, if they are worried about it?
So let's look at how we support. So let's get the bad news out of the way first. Yeah, there are things. Here are the things that your liver really doesn't like and makes your liver really struggle. Number one would be things like trans fats and saturated fats. Very few foods have trans fats anymore, but saturated fats, those are usually the fats that come from animal sources. Fried foods, refined carbs, so anything with sugar, refined sugar in it, refined carbohydrates, that means white flour, pastries, that sort of thing. Any food you're allergic to, so you're personally sensitive to. Alcohol is probably the biggest culprit there, the most aggressive thing you can do for your liver, and recreational drugs as well. Eating too much protein can also be a stressor for your liver and your kidneys. I'm not saying we need to eat enough protein, but too much protein can also go against us. All fried foods, all ultra processed foods, foods with a lot of food additives, you're just giving your liver a really big job to do when you put those in your body. Eating large amounts of fish that are high on the food chain, so your tunas, your saltfish, or farmed fish, because they're very high in heavy metals very often and dioxins because they're so high in the food chain, and too much salt. So those would be, we're looking down to make sure I don't miss anything on the list, but those are the foods you don't want to eat. So now let's talk about the good news, because let's talk about what we add, because as we said, supporting the liver is all the foods you can add. So to support phase one, the main foods we're looking at are cruciferous vegetables. So all your cabbages, cauliflowers, broccoli, arugula, or rocket salad. Probably the two superstars for that would be Brussels sprouts, and broccoli sprouts are the most potent for that.
Okay.
Got all the alliums, so garlic, leek, onions, shallots, all that family of foods. Now, they can be problematic for some people who've got certain gut issues, which are sometimes linked to the gut, to the liver, but those are very supportive for that. Tea is also very good. Tea, yes. Okay. Vitamin C rich foods, olive oil. I will go on to herbs a little bit afterwards. And then for phase two, we're looking at berries, beets. Betaine really protects the liver. Beetroots are very protective for the liver. Fish, omega-3 rich food, so that's also good.
Low down the food chain, no?
Yeah. Fish, things like sardines, anchovies, mackerels, the little ones. Yeah. Legumes are good sources of protein. We need those, as I said, and they're good sources of B vitamins. All your green leafy vegetables are also really great.
Yeah.
So you can make smoothies with that if you don't really like them. Eggs are also very good. For a long time, they were thought to be bad. Wow. But actually, they're really good because they're very high in choline, and choline is an amino acid that we need to produce something called phosphatidylcholine, which is very protective and very supportive of liver function. And what else? Artichoke, really good one. And when it comes to herbs, rosemary, sage, all the bitter things. Rosemary, sage, because it supports bile production as well. Milk thistle, I might be forgetting. Burdock is another one. Turmeric, oh, I nearly forgot that one. Super important. And then there's yeah. And in terms of like vitamins and minerals, we're looking at all B vitamins, magnesium, iron, vitamin C, selenium, molybdenum. That's what you'll find.
Yes,
That's a trace element. You don't really need to supplement that. Calcium. That's it.
Yeah.
Those are the main ones.
Yeah, so substituting things that aren't helpful for your liver with things that are helpful, then that is a really good step forward.
Yeah. And of course, super important, adequate hydration, because that's what's going to help flush everything through. It's going to support the liver, it's going to support the gut, it's going to support the kidneys. So the whole process from one end to the other.
So going back to the alcohol, some people find that really challenging to do. And so I said, well, why don't you do something really good for your liver before you go out on the town with the alcohol, rather than doing it the other way round?
Oh, that's a very good idea. I like that.
So, and because people say, right, okay, I'm going to do that, they get motivated and they do it and they feel great. And then they think, oh, well, I'm not going to drink so much because I felt so great. And that's what you're working with this process.
Yeah.
When you start eating really well for your body, you feel so great. You don't want to eat all the rubbish anymore.
Yeah.
So that really shifted some of my clients. They said, oh, I'm not going to drink as much now.
Yes, that's a really good one. The thing is, I tend to work with a lot of people who are already in midlife, and usually by the time they get to me, alcohol's no longer the problem because their tolerance has gone down, and it's maybe a few men still, but it's not usually the biggest challenge. It's at that stage, it's usually the biggest challenge is we develop a sweet tooth, and that's also not great for the liver.
And the liver likes the bitter.
Yeah. And I would say, I mean, I was like, you haven't told us how you got into educating yourself about the liver and developing your own liver, your process around supporting the liver.
The real turning point was when I got a skin condition after my second child was born, and I'd finished breastfeeding 2 years later. So that's when I got the skin condition. I went to the doctor, had the blood test, everything was normal. And so I went to see a herbalist, and she said, this is the time your body detoxifies from the pregnancy and the breastfeeding, because your body puts all that on hold while you're busy, building the baby and cleansing everything for the baby. So she said, you need to do a bowel cleanse first. So that was the key thing. So it's about doing things in order. And then I did the liver cleanse, and I think I did the kidney cleanse, and then I did another bowel cleanse. But my kids were at that stage where they're now more mobile, they're more challenging, they want more entertainment. And so I found it really difficult to eat really well for 2 weeks, do this liver cleanse and bowel cleanse. And I thought there's got to be an easier way than this. Can I do it more frequently? Because I would just do it annually. And she would say the liver time to do the liver cleanse is in the spring, and in the autumn, that's when you do your bowel cleanse. And I thought, well, wouldn't it be great if I could do something monthly? So I started a monthly routine. And then I discovered the organ clock. So this is in Chinese traditional medicine, Ayurvedic medicine. It's also in biodynamic gardening. All three are saying the same thing. So I thought we must be barking up the right tree here. And so I thought, well, wouldn't it be really good if I did an oil mouthwash in the morning when your liver is naturally purging? from the day before. And that made a massive difference.
Did it?
Yeah, I really feel, because I can feel the body doing that elimination. So it eliminates through the bowels. You can feel the elimination through the gallbladder.
Yeah.
Some people might not feel it to start off with. And you get a sensation, you think, oh, I feel really hungry. And then you can feel something release and you think, oh, and my hunger's gone. And that's your liver purging stuff into the digestive tract.
Yeah.
So so I found a monthly routine, and the organs have a daily routine, a monthly routine, and an annual routine.
Yeah.
So I would time it on a new moon, which is when your body's at its peak of detoxifying.
Right.
And I really got into that. I loved it. And I thought, I love it so much, I'm going to do it once a week. So I got into a routine of doing a weekly thing, which is what I still do now. It helped me navigate through the menopause. And that's what I teach my clients.
Yeah.
Some people do it fortnightly. Some people just want to do it monthly once they've done a series of weeklies.
Yeah.
So that's what I found was really useful. And to me, the liver, I really want to look after, because I'm now 60 this year.
Wow.
And I've had 3 pregnancies, just got 2 children. And when I was a student, I was ridiculously drinking alcohol. So I know that I need to really look after that organ. And that's the thing that a lot of pregnant women, mothers, don't really appreciate, that if they've had 3 children, they've had a long period where their body isn't able to do that normal detoxification. So
and there's also very high hormonal load, because when you go through pregnancies, you've got a surge of hormones, and it's your liver that actually processes them and helps you eliminate them. And the other thing that we do when we're moms is that we don't always go to the loo when we need to, because we're too busy. And that can cause things to recycle as well. And that can also put stress on the liver.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, it's just silly things, but anybody here who's had children knows exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah, because if you haven't eliminated the feces, your body's having to clear all the toxins out.
Well, the longer it sits in the colon, the more likely things are to be reabsorbed, because our bodies are very good at recycling. They're very good at not wasting essential things, and sometimes it will reabsorb something that really shouldn't have gone back into circulation. And in the meantime, we're still eating, we're still moving, we're still producing waste. So now our liver's got to, and everything that gets reabsorbed goes straight to the liver through the digestive system before it goes anywhere else. So the liver's now really got so much of a big job to do.
And this is another thing that I do. I make sure I eat really lightly and early in the evening. And if people do the rebalance, then their evening meal is, depending on which season it is, it could be soup, a light soup, or just a drink. And so the liver really gets a rest from the job of digesting food, and does all that cellular regeneration and detoxification.
I think that's really important.
Yeah,
it really is. I really feel, for lots and lots of other reasons, not just the liver, that the main meals of the day, we know, for metabolic reasons, for blood sugar regulation, for energy, for all digestion quality and all of that, our main meals should be breakfast and lunch, and dinner is a really light meal. And in societies where people live very old, in those longevity hubs called the blue zones, people tend to have very, very light evening meals. Sometimes it's late, because certain places culturally people eat a bit late, like in southern southern European countries, but they still have a very, very light meal at that point. It's not their main meal for the day.
Yeah, definitely. And it's difficult to change that habit. Especially when people are busy all day, they think, oh, I'll miss breakfast, then I don't have to get up so early. They have a light lunch or a late lunch. and then they're not hungry, so they end up eating at 8 or 9 o'clock at night, and they have a big meal then, and that's their
Yeah.
habit. So shifting that is really key. So if I go out for a meal, because a lot of people when they're let's celebrating, they want to go out for a meal, it ends up in the evening. Then I say, right, I'm just going to have protein with vegetable. I'll make it as light as possible.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
not burdening the liver so
Yes.
late at
Yes.
night. It's a massive investment to your liver.
Yeah.
Wow. Anything you'd like to add before we wrap
Let
this
me
up,
think if
Selina?
I've got something, some other nugget. I think the other thing I think I wanted to sort of say that the place of the liver in everything, how it gets connected to everything. Our liver really plays a very central role. It's our largest organ apart from the skin. Um, and if we look after it really well, it will take care of, there's this it's always in constant conversation with the gut. And people talk about gut health a lot, and we talk about bloating a lot, and we talk about that. But really, we forget that lots of things happen before food gets into the gut, and the liver plays a really big role there. And then it's got a real dialogue that it has with our entire hormonal system, which also has an impact on our the thyroid regulates our metabolism, and our thyroid hormones very closely monitored and regulated by the liver. And it's the same with the brain. So the mood disorders, even all the way going to things like brain fog and cognitive health and the future of our brain function. You look after your liver, you're going to be looking after all of those things. It has an impact on many, many, many things. And it needs feeding. That will be probably my
feeding.
main things.
It needs feeding, and then it needs time to rest.
Yes.
And I think a lot of food cravings have their cause in a liver imbalance, and that if you can work with that.
It's a bit chicken and egg there, isn't it? It's sort of the liver imbalance can cause the food cravings and vice versa.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, chicken and egg.
That's really important. I think that to go back to your point about early motherhood and things like that, I think there's other times in life where, and that's what's really great about dedicating some time to the rebalance that you do, is that it's not just because I've just come back from a whole week of retreat in the south of France where I was hosting the retreat. But even for me as a host, because I was in a bubble, only focusing on that one thing, it was easier to tune into my body and my needs. And I think when one go and juggling a lot of things, and like a lot of mums and a lot of people who have careers and lots of things going on, and sometimes, we start looking after our parents as well, and young adults and grandparents. There's always other people and other things, and we don't listen to this gut feeling, but it's also liver talking. So it's having a time dedicated to a rebalance, is also tuning back into our body and having those rituals, which are not just nutrition, which are having the right kind of rest. I don't know, what other things do you do apart from the food when it comes to looking after your liver? Have you got any other?
Yeah, I mean, part of the rebalance is to do a yoga nidra, do a breathing technique. I do an online stillness class. So we're bringing your awareness to your inner landscape, releasing tension through thinking rather than big movements. So it's micro movements. And then we come to the stillness of the breath. So just like we have periods of fasting, it's really good to have stillness in the breath, so the body does this detoxification then as well. So that it's not just about food. Yeah.
I'd like to add a couple of my own.
Yeah.
I think exercise, but gentle exercise, like going for not just the yoga, but just moving your body. It could be dancing, swimming, walking, playing a sport that you enjoy. I think joyful exercise as well, like moving your body. It gets things circulating as well, and it's part of your detoxification system. I really do like dry skin brushing as well, supporting the skin through it indirectly that way. And I think that having regular eating hours is just as important as what we eat, because that's when you eat regularly, your body just naturally starts to produce the right digestion processes at a certain time, and we need that. And sleep, because that's where we detox really.
Yeah, the sleep, definitely need good sleep hygiene for your liver. Yeah. Great. So how can people get in touch with you, Selina?
So I have a website which is really easy. It's selinaprager.com. You can come and visit me there. There's not a lot going on there at the moment because I haven't been tending to it very well. If you want to come and hang out with me on social media, LinkedIn is my favorite place to hang out. I do pay one visit a week on Instagram, but I'm not that much. And my handles are easy. It's Selina. So on Instagram, it's Selina Nutrition. And on LinkedIn, it's just my name, Selina Prager. There's the two of us on LinkedIn. Only one is a nutritionist, and that's me. And yeah, that's probably the best way to get hold of me. And then my other contact details are on those platforms if you really need to get in touch.
Yeah, and I'll also put it in the description.
Yeah.
And you can contact me, Integrating Health. I'm on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook. But my website has lots of resources on. And you can get my book from my website.
Oh, yes.
Or you can get it from Amazon.
Oh, I'll show you my book I've just finished writing.
Oh, okay.
It's not published yet. What is this?
Oh, brilliant.
And it's got plenty of pictures in it.
Fantastic.
So that's not published yet, but we're getting there. And then there's this one.
Optimal health.
Yeah. So that's where I talk about the liver the most. So there we go. Those will be accessible soon.
Okay, watch this space then.
Yeah.
And when they get released, I shall pop it in the description on this. Great. Thanks ever so much, Selina.
Thank you so much for having me.
As always.
Thank you so much for having me.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.